So recently I've picked up a new lens for the Fuji GFX system. I currently have a 50mm, the 50mm 3.5, which covers my 40mm focal length equivalent full frame. That's one of my favourite focal lengths. It's probably my most used. But my other most used lens is a 28. I really like that 28 and 40 combo. And Fuji has no native 28mm equivalent lens. There's the 30 f3.5, but that's a 24mm equivalent. I suppose you could crop, or you could use the zoom lenses, which I do have. I've got the 35-70, and that covers that 28mm view with the 35. It's been very good, but I wanted a specific prime for that. Unfortunately, Fuji does not have any native 28mm primes, so that has led me to acquiring this. This is the Tamron 35mm f1.8 Canon EF mount lens. It is made for the DSLRs, but it adapts pretty damn good to the Fuji medium format sensor. It covers the full frame. There's a little bit of swelling in the corners, or you know, blurriness at 1.8, but I'd argue that if you're shooting at 1.8, you're probably not bothered about your corners anyway. There is some strong colour fringing, but that's easily dealt with in Lightroom afterwards. But other than that, it seems to be a great little package for the Fuji. Whilst there is no native 28mm equivalent lens, this is going to be glued to my camera, I think. So yeah, just having picked this up, I've not had it very long. I just wanted to do a quick first impressions kind of dump video with the Tamron 35 adapted to Fuji GFX 50S2. I took it out on a walk around the woods, and yeah, I mean, it was probably a good stress test for this, to be fair. In the corners straight away you could see it was quite swell. It's quite soft at 1.8. It's kind of a torch test for it because loads of trees and branches, so you could easily see intense colour fringing, which I'll give an example of, and then an example of how easy it is to fix, generally speaking. It's very easy, so that's the only major problem with it. Other than that, it is lightweight, it's small, and it covers the full sensor. It's pretty sharp. And don't get me wrong, it's not Fuji sharp. We were talking about an adapted Canon lens to Fuji. It's not incredible like the Fuji glasses, but still very good. And if you stop down beyond 1.8, e.g. I'll show you a shot at 1.8 versus f8, the difference is there, right? When it comes to adapting these lenses, you need an adapter that has electronic contacts and can control the aperture, because otherwise you will be stuck shooting at f1.8. That led me down to researching adapters a little bit for the Canon EOS EF mount to GFX. You've basically got 2 or 3 choices, but your top end of things is, I think Stringer is the name. Theirs is about 500 quid, I think it is, and that's quite expensive when you factor in the price of a lens, the price of an adapter. If you don't own any of it, it's quite an expensive bundle you're getting on for a used GF native lenses prices there. But there isn't a 28, so you know, that led me to Viltrox. Viltrox do an adapter for this purpose. They have 2. They have the original one and then they have the Pro. I tried the original one off eBay and it just flat out didn't work for me. So I sprung for the Pro one, which I think was about £240. And that is this. It's pretty cool. It's got a USB-C port for easy updating. But the cool feature about the Pro version is the ring itself is an aperture control ring. If you can hear this. So you put this on and now every Canon EF lens is manually aperture controllable, and I think that's a cool feature as a person who really likes manual aperture control rings. Handling wise, once you pop this together, this is what you end up with. This is your overall footprint, and attached to a camera, it's very easy to handle. It's very light. It's lighter than the GF80 1.7, for example, which I also have. Another thing that surprised me about this lens is the close focus ability. You can get incredibly close. I don't know if it's just because I'm used to like Leica lenses that have like or Voigtlander lenses for Leica M mount that have a 0.7 or a 0.5 meter close focus. But this boy is very good. It can blast the background out of focus really good on that medium format sensor. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by that. I took a quick impromptu portrait with this lens and AB'd it against the native 80mm 1.7 and tried to frame it very similarly, despite obviously the focal length differences. Hopefully you can see what you can kind of get out with that. So yeah, just to quickly recap, if you can find one, you can probably get one pretty cheap. There is not a lot of downsides to it. There's strong colour fringing, easily correctable in RAW and post. There is vibration control on the lens itself. I don't know whether vibration control on the lens and on the camera is the best combination, or if just one or the other. I don't know. I've not really had that chance to play with that yet or needed it. And yeah, the only other real problem is the corner swell at 1.8. But again, if you're shooting in a particular way that you're using a 1.8 lens, you're probably not going to really care about those corners too much. When you frame for that, it's fine. When you take a landscape shot, you're probably going to stop down enough anyway. So yeah, won't be a problem. Shouldn't be a problem. I will give it a spin, doing some shallow depth of field landscape photography at some point, seascape photography. It's something I've done before with a Minolta 58 1.4 and the 85 1.7. As far as autofocus goes, it's not fantastic. That could be this, that, and everything else combined. Numerous factors at play. I didn't really buy it because I needed fast autofocus. I didn't buy a Fuji system because I needed fast autofocus. I feel like that's a trade-off you automatically accept when you buy into this stuff. I'm running the 50S2. I know the 50R is probably as bad or worse because it's the first version, and I imagine that the new ones are better. But again, different tools for different applications, right? You won't be shooting sports on the Fuji very often. One thing I've not been able to check out yet with this lens is how good it is for astrophotography. I don't know how it's going to perform. I imagine you'll probably want to crop based on the swirly corner observations from earlier in a normal sense. Yeah, it's something I'd love to try, but I live in the UK and clear nights are not common right now. I may do a little comparison with how it compares with the native 35 to 70 zoom. That starts at 3.5, I believe, so yeah, it's a little bit of a different, but you can stop this down to 3.5 and find out how they compare directly, and then sort of see the trade-off between what a 1.8 35 gives you versus the native 35. It's interesting that Fuji has no native 35 when you think about it, or native 28mm equivalent, because they built an entire compact camera, or a medium format camera, rangefinder style camera around this focal length, so they clearly know that that's a desired focal length, otherwise they wouldn't have done it. Yeah, Fuji, if you ever see this later, just please do as a pancake lens. That's a 28mm, or just do as a 28mm lens. Please make a 28mm lens. And so far I've seen that the 28mm equivalent is really good at f1.8, but if you was going to say here is a native GFX lens and it's this size but it's 28mm equivalent, I'm sold. And a lot of people will probably be sold on that. I think when they can knock out lenses of this caliber for not a lot of money, comparatively speaking to the rest of the lineup, and it does such a stellar job and is so compact and precise, and it's just great. Like it was one of the lenses that sold me on the system. Like this is brilliant. If you can give me that for this, and it doesn't have to be a fast one, it can just be a 3.5, it could be an f2.8 ideally, I'd be first in line. So yeah, I think that's everything for now. I'll definitely do a follow-up using this lens, because I will be using it more and more. I'm planning to do some sunrise seascape photography sometime in the near future when time and weather permits and the tide permits. That's my jam. I'm really interested to see how it performs with some long exposure seascapes. Those are always good. It'd be interesting to see if we can get some interesting shallow depth of field long exposure seascapes. That would be nice. But yeah, I think that's all. If there's anything you want to know, any questions, any comments about this system, this setup, this lens in particular, let me know. When I was looking for this, there wasn't a lot of information online about this lens, or indeed even about this adapter situation. So yeah, if there's anything you want to know, I've tried to show it as well, like quite a lot in hand. People don't really get to get a good feel for things more often than not on videos. Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's tiny, relatively speaking. Here it is compared to the native. So, you know, you're talking like that, but yeah. Cool. Bye for now.